Welcome to this particular scene in Edessa, the Dark Crusades. This particular scene takes place in the bazaar. Even now, into the night, it's hustling and bustling with people because money never sleeps, and people who deal with money should know that very well. And it is within this bazaar that Johanna will meet some interesting people. At least I think so. She's been rather curious, yes. What is it that Johanna is so curious about?
This interesting pearl she got from her new friend in the Merchants District. She's actually not going to take that to the bazaar quite yet. I'm imagining it probably lives somewhere with some of her herd, because she's not keeping it near her sleeping place. But once she's up and has had some time to deal with her hands and feed and start her night, she will head there and just take a moment and enjoy the strange largesse that the Lady of Wrath has given her. And she's going to try and use the Spirit's Touch on the big pearl. Which dice roll are we in?
Believe number 1.
Okay.
Number 1, and what's the name of the scene so I can just put a little thing there?
Not Howard?
Oh, sorry. It's The Coming of the Mad.
The Coming of the Mad. There we go. Righty. Roll that.
Oh.
Roll it.
Or my computer could freeze. That would also be fun. What do we have? Not bad. One success at diff 9.
Yes, that's decent. And you said you were using Spirit's Touch, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, Spirit's Touch. Let me just look that up again. I believe it's supposed to give you like a, let's see here, Spirit's Touch. Learn something of an object. With one success, still decently enough, as you kind of look intently at the black pearl itself. It's kind of mesmerizing in its shape. It's kind of perfectly circular. Even the blackness of the pearl is it's like blacker than anything that you've seen before. It's almost unnatural in its way. The resonance that you feel, the resonance that kind of comes through to you is very much a kind of, it's very dark. You feel, how should I explain this? You know that feeling that when she was alive, the feeling of kind of a deep forebodingness.
Uh-huh.
That's basically what she's feeling as a little dog just starts fighting. It starts fighting with another dog in the near you. They're fighting over a scrap of meat.
Friggin' bone gnars.
This would be a very different scene.
At 2. Hey, I get killed again last season. Werewolves again now.
As I was saying, basically the resonance that you get from the pearl is very much kind of a deep forebodingness. It's and at the same time, it's kind of inviting. It's kind of a strange. You feel more uncomfortable as you use the spirit's touch.
Uncomfortable because it's inviting? Like that kind of, I shouldn't be enjoying this kind of discomfort?
Yes, exactly that. It's very much exactly that. You shouldn't. It's kind of like, you know, of course, what a Toreador flaw, the flaw of the Toreador and such, being mesmerized by a particular thing. It's kind of like that. It's kind of like it's trying to make you be mesmerized with it. But a part of you, because of the spirit's touch, is kind of telling you not to.
Interesting. Okay. She will enjoy that for a little while and then put the pearl back and take herself out for a walk to think.
And in that walk, you stumble your way through the bazaar, the great, grand Muslim marketplace, where even at this hour, many people are hawking their wares, trying to make shilling over pound, as it were. And as a young boy, as you walk through these quite bustling streets, you overhear a young boy shouting out, "Come down to Hassan's Camel Emporium. Come down to Hassan's Camel Emporium. We have camels for all occasions at cheap, low prices, barely used and ready to become your new steed." And he is pointing some people, trying to at least point some people towards a large bazaar off the beaten path. Not exactly in an alleyway, but down an area that not many people are, moving around, really. It's quite a large. From where you stand and look down, it looks like quite a large tent of sorts, and you can see several camels are milling about. Like, they've been tied down to posts, of course, but they are milling about, and several guards are watching over them. This does look like a relatively new bazaar in the area, like a new tent, as it were.
Johanna's not very familiar with camels. She has not had much experience with them and finds this suitably intriguing. She stays to the edges of the crowd, the edges of the light, since her shadow has a tendency to be unpredictable and spiteful. And she's been warned that if anyone notices, she will be in trouble for it. So she stays out of the torchlight, but wanders closer to have a look at this new cellar.
Do you enter within?
How much is it possible to see from outside?
It's actually very. You cannot actually look very far inside. There are two guards who are stood at the door, both of them with, I would say, probably hand axes, basically strapped to belts. They're not really in uniform, but they appear to be of some form of. They are guards of some description. They would have probably light leathers to protect themselves. They keep the flaps closed, but every now and again, when you see a person walk outside, you can kind of see in. It looks dimly lit. Not much light comes from within, actually.
Okay, she will, assuming she's not stopped, duck inside to have a peek.
As you duck inside, you come upon a it's quite extravagant in here, to say the least. There are many fine silk rugs on the ground. The smell of, you'd probably say some form of hashish actually permeates along with incense in here. There are even camels within, many of them, kind of looking at you oddly as you pass, but intrigued, oh, there's a person in here, and they're all kind of looking at you. A few of them just don't care and go back to eating the fill that has been laid out for them, or drinking from buckets of water. You see, however, ahead of you, there's an Arabic man standing behind a counter, and let me get this picture up of him. Here he is. This man is stood behind the counter. You can't. His bottom portion is cut off. He is dressed in not really raggy clothing, but a merchant's outfit, quite a nice one. And would he see you immediately, or are you trying to be as stealthy as possible?
No, she's not being stealthy. She's a nun sneaking around the Muslim quarter is probably a poor choice right now.
Yes,
So she's
probably.
not. She's acting like a curious passerby, basically. So she stays out of the way of any commerce going on, and she stays out of the way of any camels because they're fucking huge. But she's not being stealthy.
All right. Well, right when he sees you, he looks up. Oh, by the way, appearance 4.
Okay, good to know.
He's very well groomed. And when he looks up, he sees you. And not without skipping a beat, almost in an insane sense, he just looks over and says, "Welcome to Hassan's Camel Emporium. Come in, come in. Come closer. Would you like my camel? Camels for all occasion." His voice commands a very, it commands a presence to it.
Mm-hmm.
This presence, you feel very welcome almost when you come in, no matter your religious affiliation. No matter what this man's affiliation is, you just feel that this individual, whoever he is, there's no malice in those words almost.
And what language is he speaking?
He is speaking French very fluently.
Okay. She'll just kind of raise a hand slightly, and a gloved hand actually, and give him a smile. Thank you. I'm just looking. I'm not familiar with camels.
That is fine. That is fine. Tell me if anything catches your eyes, sister.
Thank you kindly.
As Hassan says this, a gentleman, much like you see in this picture here, man of African-looking descent, at least you can assume it to be, I'll take you upon those kind words. My accents are terrible.
Oh, it's fine. Mine are terrible too.
Basically, he's Ethiopian. So he smiles to Johanna, but especially to Hassan. My dear friend, was looking into acquiring another camel for my services. I am a merchantman. Yes, I am a merchantman. I need.
Come in, brother. Come in. Come in.
Yes, please. Thank you. It has been very difficult to find good camels in the city, it seems.
He vaults over his the table he was standing behind that kind of cut his legs off, and you basically see as he approaches you, he's got quite baggy pants that with the legs of them have been shoved into his boots, and he also has a shamshir and a jabonti lashed to his belt, a scimitar and a curved knife, probably for protection reasons. But he walks forward. Again, no malice. He's not reaching for any weapons, of course. But he walks up to you. And he just looks looking. Do any of my fine camels catch your eye? And I tell you this right now. If any of them falter in any such way, I give you money back. Guarantee. I am no cheat.
That is wonderful to hear, my friend. You would be most surprised. I heard Omar's back in it's another city. It's in Acre. One of his camel fell flat halfway to the next city. And he gave me no free
That
fund.
is a merchant I would beat for doing something like that. He probably mistreated a poor creature.
Exactly that. But please tell me the ages of your camels.
Yes. Ages. And roughly, I don't know a good age for a riding camel. So he would tell you all the camels on sale here are in the prime of their age for the tasks needed for them. And he goes over several of them, mainly riding normal riding camels, pack camels, snow camels. No, he doesn't have any snow camels, not just yet. He'd have to go very far to the north to get a hold of those. And yes, those exist. But he basically goes over the best ones for carrying large packs, the best ones for day and night riding, the best ones who with the stamina that can afford them like very long rides. And he also gives you as well rough estimates of how much water you should feed them, how much food you should buy, and also how many dates, like date fruit, you should bring with you. To keep them to also keep them going, because he says the date fruit will actually help them along the journey. A small treat to keep them encouraged, basically, as he puts it.
Nagasi smiles. You are a man who knows his camels. He kind of messes a bit with his whiskers. I am Nagasi of Nagasi's merchant trades. My job, of course, is to take products, move them from one part of the cities to other parts of the cities. It is a very busy life, but I think, my friend, you are not so crazy. You are actually quite intelligent.
They call me mad. They say I'm crazy. I yell so much. I scream. Well, I got that epithet for different reasons. But we don't go into those stories.
No. Please, I will buy. He kind of thinks for a moment. I will buy three camels. Two for, yes, my friend. I will buy three. Two for my business and one for personal use. I do like to travel at times, and what better companion than a camel? Am I correct?
Oh yes, camels are the greatest animals in my eyes. They saved my life.
Really now, please. I don't want to take you too much from. He kind of looks at Johanna from the dear sister here. She seems quite intrigued with the creatures.
Not at all. You're here to do business. I'm only here to look. Did Hassan say his name? Did he name himself as Crazy Hassan?
Yeah, he named himself as Crazy Hassan.
Okay, so she should probably recognize that name.
You would recognize there are old the tales of an Ancilla. Yes, a crazed Ancilla, as they call him.
And he is Toreador?
He is Toreador, or Rahim Alfan, as they call him here.
Got it. Okay.
He also says to you, what was your character's name again? Not Johanna, Evans.
Nagasi. I'll type it. I'll type it down.
He looks at Nagasi and says, "Before I go into that story, I must tell you, for buying 3, I give you half price. It is you buy some. That is many camel you buy. Anyone who buy that many deserve half price."
Well, thank you, my friend. God smiles upon you for your generosity. I will certainly hope that he continues to reward you.
Oh,
And
I have to repay God himself for saving my life. And now I can tell you the tale. You see, back when I was much younger, I I had to take a caravan of camels out of from the town I was living at the time. Sadly, because of the winds of time, the Crusades, sadly, my home has not did not fare well when, with many of the invasions. But it was not actually of Crusaders who destroyed it. It was actually of one of our rival towns. They killed us for heresy, as they saw it. I wished we could only live in peace with them. But either way, not to dwell on those setbacks. Thankfully, my family did make it out safe. But what did happen was I was very stupid when I was young. And you see, I took those camels out across the great desert, and I thought I could make it. But sadly, a storm took me halfway through. Camels, most of them died, and the only one left was the one I was riding. Fell off of it. Just laid there in the sand. I just wanted to die. There was nothing left. I couldn't make it. And as I lay there, a large camel, the camel I was riding at the time, bit into my clothing and began dragging me. I just looked at him and I cursed him and I said, "No, leave me. Save yourself." And then lost consciousness. I blacked out. I woke with a splash on my face. Suddenly, I was surrounded with water. I was in an oasis. And I drank deeply at the waters there. It was nighttime. Then I looked over and I saw the camels lying there. And that's almost motionless. And I ran over. With pity breaths, I just started crying. And I promised God then that I would never, ever again allow these creatures to be harmed like that. Like what I did. I did not wish to be cruel, but in a way I was. And so now I try to find these good creatures good homes and stop anyone from abusing them. They are God, one of God's greatest creatures in my eyes.
Indeed, they are. All of the creatures that have been created have been beautiful creatures. But no, you are correct with the camel. The camel is a loyal creature. It will carry your burdens to the ends of the earth, and all it asks is for dates, dates and water.
And he looks over. Actually, there are a lot of date fruit he has on his table, and he grabs several bags filled with them. About 6 actually. And he also grabs a few flasks of water and throws those into all for free. He is very generous about this, and he basically, as he's getting some of his best camels out and he's bringing them over to you, he hands you the date fruit, the flasks of water, as well as a bag of grains for them too.
As Hassan does this, Nagasi says, "Please, a moment. Let me call my retrine so that they can take these materials." He shouts out of he kind of goes out of the little entranceway, and he speaks loudly in Arabic, and a large group of men, about 5 or so men, dressed in not beggar's clothes, but they're not very fancy clothes, not like his he simply says in a very regal form of Arabic, to prep the items and such, and to deliver them to the establishment of his. They say back, yes, sir, and they take the camels and they take them off. And Nagasi returns in, smiling again rather widely, and he kind of produces a bag for Hassan, and he simply tells Hassan, my friend, within these bags, more than appropriate for your generosities. I know that you said I know that you said for the half price, but if these camels pay themselves within tenfold, consider it a piece of a patronage, and that these camels will be the only camels that the Nagasi's trade uses.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I cannot believe this generosity. God smile upon you, sir. God smile upon you.
And he upon you, Hassan. Please, if you are ever in need within the city, come to Nagasi's trade. You will know it. You will know it by the smell of sweet spices and the most beautiful silks that you have ever seen. Far better than he kind of scoots himself in closer to Hassan. Better than that of the Europeans. And he kind of looks at Johanna as he says that.
Johanna is smiling placidly as though she hasn't heard.
Hassan,
I can roll that if you like.
tries to smile through that, but
That's fine. You don't have to.
Yeah,
Please.
it's notice on his face immediately as you say that. It's just he doesn't say anything, but you can kind of tell he flinches just a bit when you say it's better than the smell of Europeans. Just a bit.
Nagasi doesn't say anything as Hassan flinches. He simply kind of cusps his hand, and he kind of shakes it firmly. Thank you, my friend. Please, again, Nagasi's trade, if you have any needs of my services, it is more than welcome. And he turns to Johanna, and dear sister, if you are in need of spices or sweets or anything of that nature, please come to Nagasi's. I will gladly provide.
You say you sell silk.
Yes, I sell many things. Silks, spices, golden ornaments, particularly those of the various faiths. Except for the, well, kind of goes, except for those that are deemed unnatural, of course, those of God and all of the children of the book, they have their items presented.
Of course. I look forward to sampling your wares.
He kind of bows to you as you say that. The pleasure to be within your service, sister, would be all mine. Please forgive me, Hassan, but I must be on my way.
Oh, it is fine, sir. We all have places to be in these nights, and I shall be stopping by your shop. These
Please.
religious items are very. I am very curious about those, actually.
Nagasi kind of gives you kind of a smirk. Of course, my friend. Come anytime. I will be more than happy to serve you. And with that, he kind of essentially leaves the area and you hear him say Arabic again, and you can only assume at that point that him and his crew are kind of leaving the area as little dogs and such continue to fight for their scraps of meat and seem to be quite intent on causing a little ruckus as dogs do.
With that, his son looks over to the sister and says, "Madame, would you like to purchase, or are you still, or are you possibly looking for something of well, I know you are one of the cloth, as it is, but I do have samples of fine hashish as well here too."
Thank you very much for the offer. I do not indulge.
Nice.
I was only interested in your animals. It'll be some time before I'm moving on, but your reputation precedes you.
I thank you very much for that. I thank you for not being deterred by my epitaphs calling me crazy. Everyone says that about me. The mad camel merchant, as he is. The man who trekked across the desert and made a oath to the great Allah that he would protect the good animals that he created.
But surely you have someone else to tend your shop in the nights.
Oh, I do. My secretary, he does tend the shop as well, and yes, and then there is. Oh no, it's just my secretary. Really. The guards, they don't. They just look after the place. They don't look into the books or anything like that. They do help with the feeding, of course, of the animals. Well, the animals can take care of themselves. I've seen them hoist men up by bite down upon them and throw them into the air. It's horrifying sight, I must say. But when you push these animals too hard, as I've seen it done many times in the past, they will bite back.
She actually takes a step back when he describes camels whipping people about by the head because that's just appalling.
Oh, do not worry. They will not try that on you unless you started beating them with a club. And if you did that, I would also try to intervene.
Your camels are safe from me. Out of character, does he have another name he's known by among the...
Nope, he's just known as Crazy Hassan.
Okay.
The one name he's been known by for 100 years.
Thank you for indulging my curiosity.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure to meet another of the Rose. And she will,
word for a moment. Oh. Good of my kind.
Indeed.
I like that. Of the Rose. It's the first time I've heard that, actually. Sorry, I have spent much time among our Arabic fellows. We have different terminology.
I'm afraid I have not spent any time in these lands. I'm new. You have to forgive me if my phrasing is gauche.
Oh, it is fine. We do not come from this land. I don't always expect one to know the words. Well, think about this. If I went up to those lands of Rus and I talked to a vampire from there, of course I'm quick to get a few words wrong.
Did he just say vampire in front of these people, or is he kind of keeping his voice down?
There's like no one else in here right now.
Okay, good. She will calm her tits then.
But yes, if I went up to Rus and said, "Oh, you are the Bayat of the clan Rain Arfan," oh no, they would not understand the word I'm saying. They have their own words for it up there.
Naturally.
It's always fun. Different cultures about people. That's why I like being a merchant. I meet so many.
Do you do much traveling?
I have done much in my time. Not much outside of these lands, but I have made contacts for the past 100 years with many foreign. I've been here in Odessa many times before. I have a bit of some moderate power here as well. I had to take my leave for several years to settle matters in other lands, but I have returned and I've seen how much it has changed recently. I don't know if it's for good or for bad. I'm still trying to get a grip on some of the politics that's being done here.
I look forward to hearing some more stories of your travels and this area.
No, I have done much. And it is not just me. I wish he was here tonight so you could meet yeah, he's not my child. He is a adoptive, I guess you could call him. His name is Amir. He is of the Bayat Musharid, Nosferatu, as I think they call him. Isn't that correct in that word?
Yes, that is a word I'm familiar with.
Yes. He is, he's been out just getting a lay of the land for me. I have not moved much outside of the bazaar here. He moves very well in the night.
I see.
A timid sort, but he likes to just stay back, watch. Of course, he could never show himself to the good people of the city. It is their curse, truly. I feel very bad for him. Their kind suffered greatly during his lapse.
And you are not the sort to hang back and watch, I see.
I am not. I could not allow him to continue suffering. I had to bring him under my care.
I
And
see.
I thought him one of the mad hyena. I thought him one of the mad hyena men when I first saw him. One of those legendary beasts, the men who changed into hyenas and they stalked around stealing the children. But it was not true. We just somewhat looked apart.
Have you run into hyena men?
No, I have not. I've heard that they might exist out there, but I've never seen one myself. Of course, we always hear those legends, well, not legends, those tales of lupines running around and murdering people. But of course, we don't all. At the same time, I try to stay off those roads as much as possible. Whatever they want from us, they're not going to have.
A wise man.
Yes, and I'm not dumb enough to go headlong and fighting them. They would rip me apart in seconds. No, I know a blade quite well.
I see.
Yes. So, what goes on in the Toreador? What are our European counterparts? Anything interesting going on in the city now?
I'm afraid I've only just arrived. I
Ah,
haven't had time to
we
speak
have
to any of our clients. I beg your pardon?
we have some similarities there. Both of us arriving recently.
Exactly. Though, I'm afraid you have me at an advantage. I've never been here before. And I still get
I
lost in the
mainly
city.
stuck to the Muslim quarter. Though, well, I can trust that you would not delineate, well, as it were, prejudiced against those not of even the Muslim faith.
Are you telling me that you are not one of the people of the book?
I am. I like to believe that Allah may exist out there, but I also know him by a different name, a name that my people call him by.
What name is that?
Give me a second. I actually think might get this confused with a different name. It's in another language. Ahura Mazda.
Out of character, what language is that in?
I believe that is in Arabic.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Does
from
it-
it's from it's Avestan, but it was also highly associated with Iranian.
Because she has
So-
Farsi as one of her tongues. And that's
I would just count it under. It's an old form of Arabic. Let's just say
okay.
it still would be a part of those old ways. Basically, what that translates to is I think it means or simply as it's Lord or Spirit.
Okay, interesting. So are you from here then?
I am from here, yes.
I
Well, not
see.
the city specifically.
Of course.
That tale I gave to the other man who is in here is true. I didn't tell him about the part where I became a vampire.
Then you do not know him.
I do not know who he was.
And
But
yet
you
you
know
seemed
them.
almost as brothers.
I consider many my brother. Be they
Ah,
be they Bayat or be they mortal. We are all children under God. No matter how much we've been cursed or blessed in some people's eyes, but I don't always subscribe to that concept.
that's very broad-minded of you.
I try to be as broad as possible.
It's a
That
very
is
good trait
what
in a merchant.
I associate, and in my religious quandaries, associate Allah with Ahura Mazda. He was. Do you know that name though? Do you know what faith that comes from?
Say it again. What was the...
Ahura Mazda.
Okay, got it. Sorry. No, I'm not familiar.
Zoroaster, the faith before the Muslim faith.
She actually gives him kind of a funny look.
No, it is an old one, not practiced much. Our people became very minority after the Muslim conquest. Ahura Mazda is the creator. Mazda is wisdom. Ahura is mighty or Lord. Basically, as we put it, he was the benevolent and good, holy wise, the uncreated spirit, and the upholder of Asha, truth. He was the guardian of justice and friend of the just man. He is our Lord. And when the Muslims came, there was, of course, fighting. There was much fighting, in fact. Many of our beliefs were considered wrong, unholy in a sense. We were a people of peace. We did not worship, we did not sacrifice people like many say some did, but we did not. That sort of thing was disgusting. We were a peaceful people. We paid our reverence to him. Very simple. That is why my village was burned. We were killed because of our faith. I wanted simply to live in peace. That is it, really. I don't want to go into a long discussion about about him, but all you need to know is he was the good God, wise, holy, and we try to do right by others. And it is very sad how how it has all turned out. You recognize me. I'm known in our clan, even by the Europeans. I have helped many of our clan before in these lands. Zahab Garat, the upholder of Mazda, and even the sculptor of 1,000 sultans, that great artist from Persia. I have trekked with many of our kind. How did you know of my name?
She kind of shrugs. I've
Rumor
heard. Mhm.
passes around very quickly. Was that what you were expecting?
No. Well, I prefer to withhold judgment. Let's say it that way.
Many people. I wonder. Did the tales you hear say I was a wide-eyed, mad, silver-toothed, crazed Arab who ran around with an entire legion of ghouls, camels, or some such nonsense?
A legion of camels sounds extremely exciting.
It's one of the tales someone told about me, saying I have silver teeth. No, they're not. I decided to go with that motif with it, and he pulls out a set of. They look. It shines a bit. It's a bit. It looks like pieces of silver, but it's like connected together, and he sets them over his teeth, almost like it's like almost like a tooth guard of sorts that makes it look like he has actual silver teeth. It's not fun to have in my mouth, but it helped drum up customers. And he pulls them out. Do I see it?
Does
right?
it?
Yes. Eccentricity helps with sales, I find.
A camel is a large investment to be offering
It's not just
to a.
camels I offer, of course. I offer many things.
Hmm.
You can smell it in the air already. And he kind of just casually, like to the side, he opens up a tent flap, and you look in. There are several people in there. None of them have probably heard what you're saying because they all appear to be intoxicated. They've been smoking on hashish pipes, and many of them are just sitting around, and some of them eating bowls of date fruit that he has left out. I have many business ventures, you see.
So I see.
Yes. I wouldn't have made it to 138 if I didn't spread out my businesses. And while camels are my holy task of protecting, you always have to find a way to make ends meet to feed them. And also feed the families that I've been helping for many years now.
Sorry, the what he's been kept in?
Oh, families.
I see. Got it.
I help the Muslims as much as possible. I want to try to ensure a good relationship with them, not just in commerce, but within commonality. And I'd like to spread that out to others in the city as well. Jews, Christians, promote peace. That is my purpose. It's not just to make a large, gigantic bowl of money and then use that to gather some sort of herd of mortals so I can readily feed. No, I am here with the task of simply promoting peace among those who would want to kill each other. I have seen some of the gangs roaming the streets. It is not good. That needs to be stopped. He adjusts the fez that is sitting on top of his head.
That is an interesting sort of personal mission you've taken on. I wish you good
I've been
fortune.
alive for one. Thank you. But I will say, being alive for 138 years, I have seen some of the horrors mankind can commit. Many say the beast within. You know that. The beast within is what makes us inhuman. I say to those who say that, those gentlemen who have this position of promoting such things as, hold on one moment, actually. I have something written down for this. Uh, then, these gentlemen, they think they have a mission to purge us of all the sins that that other men have committed. They should, in my opinion, first sort out uh, the basic food position, and then start preaching. That's where it begins. Those who preach restraint and watch their ways to as well should learn for once the way the world is run. However much they twist, both lies that they have. Food is the first thing. Then
Sorry. However much they twist what?
how much they twist or whatever lies they tell. Food is the first thing. Morals follow on. My 138 years, I know at this point what keeps mankind alive. The fact that millions are daily tortured, stifled, punished, silenced, and oppressed, mankind can keep alive thanks to what maybe a gangrel would call its brilliance in keeping its humanity oppressed. And for once, they must not try to treat these facts. It is a sad part of life that many of mankind, those who are so desolate, starved, oppressed, they keep themselves alive by the best of their hands. Look at these gangs who roam the streets, extorting money, beating people who don't. Why? Food. Why do gangs of orphan children clamor and steal? Why? To make ends meet. Food. That, as I see it, is one of the sad facts of life. I want to change that here in the city. I want to help these people. It is like our kind. For us, what comes first? What does it end with? Love. Vita. Life's essence. Whatever you call it, that is our position. So if we want to have a healthy herd, first is keep them healthy. It's a simple thing. Does it sound like it? Yes, it isn't.
It sounds as though you've had too much company of camels and not enough company of listening ears.
Amir is the only one I can truly talk to about these things. My own guards. I will not put the burden of grieving upon them.
I see.
I keep them out of all of this movement. I have for many years now. I've seen many of them grow. I've had to release them after several years. I might pull them for one eventually, but I do not want to wish this curse upon them.
Well, you're fortunate I stopped by to listen.
I thank you for listening to my words. Maybe they sound like the rantings of a madman. You can draw your own conclusions to that. I might be old, but I take very little offense about what people think of me, unlike some editors I have met. ones that I once met an Arcadian, Bayat Monshari, as we call him here. He, a simple fledgling, a neonate, a young child, all he said was, I don't agree with the way we're going about, well, about our business. He was this Bayat Monshari. He had a bit of power in the city. I forget his name. I left shortly after what he did. All this man said was, I disagree with how we're going about this way. I don't like it. I think it's wrong. He voiced a simple complaint. His lord listened. His lord walked over and broke his arm. Told him, speak to me like that again, I'll break your neck. I almost flew into a frenzy and attacked him, but I didn't. I left after helping set the young child's bones, and he was very new. I'm just saying, he didn't even know how the powers of the blood could heal broken wounds. I had to help him set it, and I had to tell him how to do it. I quickly left the city after that. I don't like it when those who think that just because they survived 100 years can simply go around throwing their weight and say, oh, I'm going to stamp down and break this one. Those people I don't think they deserve our respect.
An anarchist?
I'm an anarchist? No. A lord earns respect not by physical force, but by his presence. That is my opinion. And that Malkavian, he could have simply, easily shown that neonate the error of his ways and word. Those who use physical violence like that, no.
Well, I'm sure it'll be a pleasure to know such a man of peace.
I might be a man of, I might preach peace, but I have dabbled in war. And when people push me too far, I will fight back. Like a camel in that sense.
She kind of smiles and looks away.
It was a pleasure meeting you tonight, sister. I hope we can discuss these things again, maybe at another point in time.
I would be pleased to. And I think it would be good for you.
Yes, I'd like to hear your opinions. I always like that sort of thing. Either way, I bid you a good night.
And you. God bless you.
Nayaru Mazda, or Allah, smile upon.
She heads out into the night again, sticking to the shadows once more.
I see. Does Johanna, does she head right back to her where she sleeps or anything like that?
She's still pretty restless. She'll probably keep moving around the bazaar, looking at what there is to see. She'll probably take a quick detour to go see Nagasi's things. But she won't go in and won't linger too long because it's getting late.
Of course. Can you just give me a nice little perception alertness?
Absolutely.
It's difficulty 7.
Okay.
For Johanna.
Oh, botch. Double botch.
Whew. Ugh. Oof. Okay.
Temporarily 9.
Yep. Pretty much.
Walks into a lamp.
Yes, you kind of bunked yourself into a lamp, but in a way that lamp probably helped you as you kind of move your hand to kind of get it out of the way. You notice something. You notice something in that home that you kind of recognize. You and Madeline looked at it, actually.
I see something inside.
Yes, you do actually. You see, for all intents and purposes, one of the sons of the Lady of Roth. You see him looking down at you, but he has no expression on his face. It's very much how he was when you bumped into him. The thing that really kind of is off-putting is just the fact that there's no light. There's still no lights within the home, and all you see is just him looking at you. He's not moving or anything else. He's simply looking at you.
She will raise her hand in a sign of benediction, and kind of sketch across as though she is offering him a blessing from afar.
You do so. You do the blessing, and he attempts to do some right back to you, but again, that stiffness of his form, it's very much like it's very much that kind of puppet form, attempting to do so.
Is he in speaking distance?
Well, you could technically do so, but you'd have to get you'd have to basically, the way that the home is, there's kind of like a little, kind of a gateway, if you will.
Sure.
It's a very small one. It's a very small one, but you could get to it if you desire to.
And you said he's standing in the window?
Yes.
Okay. When he repeats the gesture, she'll start moving forward to see what he does. Moving toward the gate.
As she gets closer to the gate, do you touch the gate? Is the question.
Does he react in any way as she moves toward the gate? Does he seem like he's going to stop her or come out to speak to her, or?
No, he just does what he was doing before, just staring at her. His expression doesn't change, and you're not too sure about it. Again, it seems like you're trying to be polite of it and what have you, but something still feels entirely off about it. And as you do you touch the gate? Again, I have to be a little specific on that.
She'll reach out and touch the gate like she's going to come in.
As you touch the gate, hold on, I gotta roll a little thing. Basically, it's nothing that's gonna you're not gonna die or anything like that. It's not like an instant kill or anything.
I'm already dead. Bring it.
Yeah, right? Okay. So let's see. It's not actually, if you could roll it for me, because I have to use my phone because
Sure, how many dice?
It's just 3.
Okay. 9, 5, and a 7.
The 9 and the 7 work. Basically, what you feel is very much that feeling that you had from the pearl, but it's magnified. It's almost as if it's It's as if it's attempting to drown out your mind, kind of make it hazy, incoherent, almost hypnotic, as you touch the gate.
Interesting. Is that something I've probably experienced before?
It's quite possible. Has she met or dealt with people of occultic arts, I should say?
She might have. I can roll occult if you like to see if that's.
Please, please do so.
Oh nope, just kidding. I can't. I have no dots in that. Let's say no. Never
Okay.
felt it before. Seems
Go
good.
back and be the sun. No.
Basically, since you have no dots in occult, it feels as if you could kind of see it as almost being kind of possessed,
Okay.
if you will. It's almost as something's trying to possess you, and if you remove your hand from the gate, the feeling still kind of lingers. And you can almost feel as if like the very essence of that which is the vampire. It's not, you could call it a soul, I guess, but the very essence of yourself, it's almost as if it's trying to pull it out, as if like by strands of thread, trying to get you to basically enter into the home, if you will.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that's very interesting. Can I use Read the Soul on the gentleman in the window? This is a poor choice. I'm making poor choices tonight.
Hey, that's totally fine. Yeah, you totally can.
Why do we roll? Perception, empathy again? Okay.
Yeah, I believe so.
I've got it open, so I checked. Yes. Oh, that was a good roll. Jesus. What's the difficulty? It's diff 8. 1, 2,
yeah.
3, 4 successes.
Okay, and which one did you use again?
Read the
Spirit
soul.
Read the soul.
Read the soul this time.
Read the soul. Trying to see what it is that does.
This is the auras. It's on page 196.
Okay. Basically, what
Dear, that's a lot of success.
What's that?
I said, oh dear, that's a lot of success.
Yes, it is. Basically, with the reading of the soul, what you see, your shadow when it animates, does it kind of take a particular shape, or does it kind of just move around and such like that?
Her shadow is pretty spastic.
Okay. His aura, you can clearly see without the shadow of a doubt. You see a skull. It is black. It is as black as that pearl, and there's a hint though. There's a hint of light coming from its eyes. Not very bright, but it's very much like kind of a lightish green, almost palish green, kind of under the eye sockets. But yes, it is. The aura is definitely that of a skull, and it kind of looks like it's wanting to. It's like it's saying something to you as it kind of moves. It's not very coherent looking. It kind of flickers in and out. But you definitely see a skull.
Can I tell? Normally, I can tell whether it's a vampire or a ghoul or whatever. Can I tell what sort of creature it is?
You can definitely tell it's not a vampire. You can definitely tell it's not a vampire. It may have been a ghoul, but not a ghoul in the way that a kindred knows. This thing is something else. It's something that is perhaps should not. Of course, vampires should not, but this is something that definitely should not exist.
Okay. She's going to, again, sketch a blessing in the air, hoping that maybe God will stop by and smite this thing before she has to get her hands dirty.
There's no paladins. There's no paladins in Edessa. Get out of here. As As you do so, he simply attempts again the blessing, but you can hear an audible kind of crack from his arm as he does so, and with that, he just kind of slowly just walks away from the window, and that's it.
She walks very quickly back home to have a bath drawn. So she can have
Yes, please.
scrub the shit out of herself. Ew, 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 ew.
And well, I'm pretty much good with my stuff. What about you, Hassan? Is there anything that you would like to do?
The son goes back over and sits down behind his desk. As he does that, a small voice is heard. Actually, but come from the shadows of the tent. My lord. And he looks over, and he sees in the darkness this horrifying creature. This beast who... Oh, the picture isn't showing up. Give me a moment. Great. I think I know why it is. Upload. Come on. Work. Don't fail on me now, computer. Open. Come on. I had the perfect picture for this too. Alright, I'll try to explain it for now. Basically, the beast that stands before him, it's very terrifying. It could possibly maybe be mistaken for one of the shape changers of legend, even though it is not. It is Omni. It is Nosferatu, childer, adoptive childer, as it were, who has the head of a hyena, but this horrid, kind of palish white body covered in lumps and boils pustulating, and it almost, though they would not count as the protein claws of Glen Gangrel, his hands, his fingernails are almost elongated in that sense, and also along his horrid corpse, well, not corpse, palish body, just crisscrossing red, very distinct red veins throughout it as well. And this disgusting creature just walks into the room. He's wearing nearly no clothing as well, but he just looks over, and Hassan, almost unfazed, just says, "Amir, I told you to not call me your friend. I'm sorry, Hassan. I was scouting around the city as you told me to. Good. What did you find out? Not much. Only there are more games. And he barks.
Yeah, those little dogs. One of them caught the meat and he's running away, and the other dog's pissed.
You're going robot, Evan. Hold it. You're going robot like crazy right now. I think
Satan just walked
just tried to come out. That was terrifying. Oh jeez. No, but he just says, there are more gangs here than we once assumed. And I heard rumors about bands of bandits from the high mountains to the north, but I was unable to find anything about them. I think we'll have to look into them first. We'll make it, but before that, I think we still will possibly have to make an expedition to the Jewish court. Either way. Thank you. Come. We have much preparing to do. Some in the back of the grand tent. And with that, I think we can say we can call it a night. Thank you all for listening in, and we shall see how it turns out for these 3 Canaanites of the city.